This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
This Friday.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome.
Look at that.
Crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2. Rated R. Only in theaters Friday.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths, and sometimes heights, to ensure the power is always flowing. Which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jack Daniels is proudly served in fine establishments, questionable joints, and everywhere in between. So, no matter where you go, in every bar, you'll always know someone by name.
Jack. Jack and Coke?
Shot of Jack?
Jack Daniels, please.
Right away.
That's what makes Jack, Jack.
Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. Copyright 2025 Jack Daniels. Tennessee whiskey. 40% alcohol by volume. 80 proof.
Welcome to the Tour Coach Podcast. I'm Tony Ruggiero here, as I always am, your host. And you're joining in on what we are now having as the Tour Coach Minis. And those are little 10-minute conversations with myself or Jackson Court, who's going to be hosting some of this. These will be 10-minute conversations and musings from around the world of golf, from around our travels, our friends, our players, other coaches, to give you more Tour Coach, more Dew Sweeper content during the week. If you like what you hear on the podcast, you can always find more content as we're kind of spreading our wings, if you will, with Dew Sweepers TV on YouTube. And there's links to it in our description. Please support the Dew Sweepers and like our page there on YouTube. And just like the Dew Sweepers radio show or the Tour Coach podcast, the Tour Coach Minis are brought to you by our friends at Shrixon Golf, our friends at Bushnell, Buick, GMC, especially Mitch McConnell, and McConnell Automotive, and you can't forget Vineyard Vines that keep us all looking good. So enjoy this episode of the Tour Coach Mini, and we're here with all the golf content you could ever want each and every week.
Back with me, the legend Donald Cooper. Coop, how we doing?
Doing great, Jackson, doing great. Thanks for calling and letting me do this.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. Well, we had you on a little while ago talking about just the game of golf in general and your experience around some of the world's best players for decades. I'm curious, how do the pros actually improve?
How does a pro improve? Well, Jackson, I believe the pros, their process of improving is you give a pro a little bit of confidence, and that's like a year's worth of practice, just that quick. And when they get confidence, I think they start resetting some goals and narrowing targets, not even like their targets on the golf course, as well as like an end target for some drill they're doing to get more flexible, narrowing that, increasing, what they do. They don't stop because they're getting better. They increase the work they do to be the best. And that's what I see, is that their goals are always changing. Week to week, it seems. You understand what I'm saying, as to they never stop accomplishing.
Because sometimes golf's like whack-a-mole, right, where you can be playing and all of a sudden your driver's not working great, and you got to whack that mole down, and then you focus on your driver and you're working on something, then your wedges aren't as sharp and you got to do that, and then you're putting, and then you've got course management. And there's all these things that pop up that you've kind of got to hammer down and keep at bay. And it's interesting you went right to confidence, because I think the confidence, if you can give somebody confidence in what they're doing, hopefully that transfers to the golf course. But yeah, speak more into that. And, initially I wasn't necessarily thinking about technique, but then obviously that's kind of where my mind goes as an instructor. But with pros, that line and that margin for improvement is so small. I've got an example. So a member here at Atlantic Beach is Evan Harmeling, plays on the Korn Ferry Tour. He Mondayed into Puerto Rico, and he top 10'd. So he got into Valspar. So he plays Thursday and Friday at Valspar. He finishes in the dark. So he's got 16, 17, and 18 to play Saturday morning, and he's at 1 over, and he knows the cut's probably at even. So he's got to make birdie on one of the last 3 holes to make the cut.
And they are not easy.
No. Okay, so he's talking about he makes good par on 16 and 17, and 18, I guess the pin's kind of in the back, and there's a shelf up there.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I guess the pin is 3 or 4 paces past the shelf, and he didn't
back up on the right. Yeah,
correct. And he didn't think he had a ton of room behind it. And based on the number, I think it was playing 8 uphill. He hit like kind of a soft 8. He said he hit it. He thought it was perfect. Okay. And there's some fans out there in the morning as they're crawling up there, early in the day, and he gets applause after his iron shot. So he thinks he hits it perfect, right? He gets up there, and this 8-iron landed maybe a pace below the ridge. So it lands up next to the pin, but because it's early,
it comes back.
Greens are correct. Greens are soft, and this 8-iron, and then this ball rolls back, and he's got a 40-footer up the hill to make the cut. And obviously,
yeah, and we used to hear it would be like applause. It's like applause and then
Right, and he talked about how all he had to do was fly this ball 2 yards further.
Right.
And he's got, something up top. And that's where I think improving for the pros, that margin is very fine. And things on the golf course, with you being on the bag for people, is so finite because these players are the best and have unbelievable ball control. And those little details, whether it's a Saturday morning or a Friday afternoon, affect those decisions on the golf course.
100% they affect them. And you're right, because there's I remember this old saying, I can't remember who told me it, but, one of the old caddies said, so-and-so told his caddy one day, he hit it up there stiff, and he goes, did you measure that from the back of the head or the front of the head? And, a lot of people don't even understand that, but he meant the back of the sprinkler head or the front of it.
A foot difference.
And I mean, a foot difference. And, that may be exaggerated through the years or what have you, but that's how dialed in they get. Like, you don't tell, when a pro's playing his best, 87 and 89 yard, that's a difference. That's a big difference, because their wedges are like instruments. I mean, they know exactly how far they go and how far they back up and how they respond on the ground. And it's like they have a string on it. But the way that they get that way is by staying on the range from 9 o'clock in the morning until, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hitting just wedges. And that's, a couple of days a week. And then, maybe reduce it as the tournament gets closer. But still, they work on it every single day. And it's like, I don't know, it becomes like brushing your teeth. It's just what you do. It's what they do. And that's why it's not easy.
Important out there, too.
Correct. That's what makes our job important is, it matters, and a lot of people don't think that wind matters on short shots. And I think it matters probably a little bit more because it's higher in the air. And also they are so dialed in on the numbers that they pitch that ball at that, they need to know where the wind's at.
Can you tell that story? I hope you remember it, but I will never forget you telling the story about number 8 at TPC and you gave Lucas a different club based on the winds and the tides that you knew in the area. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, it was and Lucas actually helped me learn this. Was most of the courses in Florida, when the tide shifts, the wind shifts to east. That's on the east coast of Florida, not on the west coast. But when that tide shifts, the wind shifts. And he told me one day, hey, there goes that tide, because the wind had shifted. And I wrote it down in my yardage book, and I would pay attention all the time to the weather report when the tide was going to change. And then I'd look that day, I go, yes, to be on the 8th hole. So I know it's happening and just want him to ask me, because I can't say anything if he doesn't ask. But he asked something about that wind. Felt like that wind. I said, yep, tide just changed. And it helped him a little bit, and that was about all I did good for him that day. But anyway, I helped him a little bit. But yeah, it's just that stuff that you think your average golfer going to play it wherever on the East Coast down in Florida would watch the weather and get the tide change. I don't think they would, and that'd probably be a bogey.
So, speaking into technique, you've been around, obviously, players with their coaches. When they are working on something in their motion, how do they improve that? Obviously, there's the fitness aspect to it and being able to move better. But have you seen trends, or have you seen differences in how players will practice to help them get better?
Yeah, I've seen some changes. Do you recall this? There was a big PVC thing that polluted or littered golf courses all across the nation, that you lean the shaft on and swing, the swing plane it was called. And you could even hear it because it had the fittings on it, and it'd be like, and you could just hear that all over golf courses. And if you stand behind that and watch somebody swing that, it does, keeping on the same plane, I'm sure you will teach to gain speed or what have you. But I think that now what's happening is the whole golf swing is taught and instructed by you guys, even from addressing, it starts with addressing the ball. It's just, I don't think golf used to be taught, like the backswing really wasn't taught a lot. It was mostly, from the top through. And now I just think that the whole swing has just been analyzed. They can tell you where your pressure points are bad, and you could work from daylight to dark every day and still not have everything covered. I mean, would you agree? There's a lot of things that you guys know about golf now because of the computer technology.
Yeah, there's a ton, and that's, speaking into the art of coaching, that's one of the things I've learned from Tony and Wayne and Hackett,
yes,
all the guys I'm around. I think the best coaches are able to give information simple, that they can read it quickly, because improvement, it's funny, I like it when players are impatient, because they want to get better, and they want to get better now.
Tomorrow, right, today, yeah.
Right. Like Bill Haas was like that to the max. If it didn't...
Oh, yes, if there was a poster child, oh, yeah, it wasn't going to work.
It ain't it. Give me something different,
right.
Which...
He was laughing on the inside. He was laughing like, ha, 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 showed them.
Right. And I think players will receive information differently, right? Like we were just talking about this. Amelia Lewis, who will be on the pod, she shares a little bit about, we changed one idea of what she was trying to do with the sand in the bunker, and it revolutionized a couple of her shots. And it was zero technique. But then there are guys that like a little bit of that. And then I think about people like Alex Noren, and you see him doing these extreme exaggerations and figuring out how those players connect with the information and then are able to connect it to the club and then able to connect it to the ball flight. I think that's the process for improvement. And
I agree.
It's about your insight, because you've been around the best players, you've been around the best coaches, and I'm sure you've seen so many different angles of approach. That's where I'm trying to get your insight, Coop.
Yeah. Well, what I think it is like what I see on the range today is their instructors, coaches, whatever, are not like out there just filling their heads full of stuff, and because you guys do a bunch of work away from the golf course. And then once you get there, it's pretty simple what they're being taught.
It's game time.
And right, for them to do it, basically they're at work. When we a practice round on a Tuesday, we're at work. So they're at work, they've clocked in, and it's time to get after it. So, I think it's more of it's like they have, somebody behind them with a whip, not letting them stop or let up. Yeah. And, it's not us because we're working with them, but it just, they're driven to get physically stronger, more flexible. There's a competition between the players themselves in a sense. Like, they all watch Jakob Neiman swing the golf club. I don't care who you are. If you walk by that kid and he's hitting the driver, you're going to watch because it looks like you might get tangled up in the middle of his backswing. And I just think that they see that, like an older guy will see Neiman swing, and he's got the best in the world working for him, and he goes to his coach and says, I don't turn enough. You guys can help them now, no matter who they are, how old, how young. It's like I want to be a teacher these days because seeing the equipment, the machines y'all have in the bay, and just getting the players on there, you know what they're doing wrong, and you know how to fix them. That gives you confidence, right? That's right. Yeah. As a teacher. So I would have to say that what I'm seeing now today is just more dedication to getting better by the players.
Tony said something interesting one time. I was picking his brain about how to help people. And he had said, with your regular AM or maybe your beginner, entry-level player, it's important to teach them how to go through the ball, right? Get the face square and get them controlling their contact so that they've got some sort of predictability over where the golf ball's going.
Right.
And good players, he thinks the opposite. He thinks they already know how to go through the ball because they're good. So it's a lot of cause and effect. And if you can get them in maybe a better position in the backswing or moving a little bit better in the backswing, they're going to be able to react and unwind better because they already know how to go through the golf ball.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. And another thing, what I see with Tony, what he teaches I love is that you before you even start the swing, you have to build a base. You have to have because I've been around golf my whole life, but I've only understood the golf swing the way I do now because of Tony, because of, he explains it as an axis and turning on an axis, and it shifts basically from the left to the right to the left. But he teaches that to where the amateur or the pro understands exactly what he's talking about, or to post up on your left. And then we got to post on, and he teaches, they understand. That's important too. And I see a lot of students or whatever get taught something they really don't understand, and they won't speak up and say, I don't understand what you're talking about.
That's a good point. They've got that understanding and that picture. Coaches have to buy in and create, and the players have to buy in and deliver.
Right on. That's exactly right. And I think you get a pro and a good teacher together just clicking, and they can do whatever they want to do.
Hopefully. That's the goal, Coop.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coop. Well, this has been great. I'm going to hit pause here, and we're going to bring you back for another segment.
You got it.
Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero. And look, recently, several teachers I know and several players have had some scares with skin cancer. In fact, I recently went and saw a dermatologist here in town, and I had a couple things frozen off, eyelid, my face, my earlobe, and not getting any younger. And I know it's getting to that time of the season where it's cooler, but look, being in the sun is a real deal, and I've not been very good, to be totally honest, my whole career at using it at all, because I didn't like how greasy it was, how hard it was to get off your hands, how it clogged up my pores. And then I found this sunscreen, Visor Skincare. It's clear. It goes on. It doesn't dry you out. It isn't greasy. It's like you didn't put anything on it. By far, it's the best sunscreen I've ever used. Without a doubt, is the easiest to use. And we've got a discount code for all of you. All you have to do is go to visorskincare.com. Is use our code word DewSweeper. Visorskincare.com, code word DewSweeper. I just want to remind everybody something that I forgot. Recently, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I went out. We went to a wedding, and afterwards with some friends, we were like, hey, where's a great place to go? I'll be honest, like in my travels and day-to-day, sometimes I get caught up and I forget some of the great places right around the corner. But I got to remind you about the Icebox Bar on 755 Monroe Street. I was blown away by just the whole vibe, the atmosphere, and with the Velvet Pig, the food in the back room, and the big screen TVs up front. We sat there and watched some playoff games. I was blown away by the atmosphere, the vibe, and just how cool it was to have the Icebox Bar right here near the Dew Sweepers downtown, near where I live. You're looking for a great place to go sit, watch some games, hang out, play some pool. You got to go to the Icebox Bar right there on Monroe Street. There's a good chance you'll see all of us hanging out. But do yourself a favor, go visit the Icebox. It's one of the best places out there.